Good afternoon and welcome. Hello to the wonderful assistants of BEEI Phase 5. Welcome to the orientation session this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jen Stradom, and I am with the team at Ecubed, and I'm absolutely delighted to be talking to all of you today. I'm going to get started in just a moment. We'll have people jumping in as we move along. So thank you for being here. Before I get started with my presentation, I just have some housekeeping. I wanted to tell you all a couple of things. So firstly, you'll see that your cameras and microphones are switched off, and you won't be able to switch those back on. I also see some of you are using the raise hand functionality. You don't have to do that. We won't be taking questions in that format today. So you can just sit tight, relax, and listen. There is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. So if you do have any questions, we've got a wonderful team online here today who will answer your questions via the Q&A box. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little button that says Q&A. You can click on that and submit your questions. As I said, you don't have to raise your hand. I will not be looking at that for the time being. So, my dear assistants of Phase 5, welcome again for those who are joining a couple of moments late. Let's talk a little bit about Phase 5 before we get into the nitty-gritty of this call. I'm here to tell you a little bit about Teacher Connect and what we're going to be, well, how you can get your training and things like that. In the meantime, let's talk about Phase 5. As I said, all assistants are asked to complete their training by the end of July. That's this month, so a little bit over 3 weeks to complete your training. Another thing we ask is that you complete the monthly survey. Those will come available towards the end of each month. You'll find them on the WhatsApp chatbot. In addition, we have a lot of content for you. Over and above finding your training on Teacher Connect, which I'm going to explain to all of you in a moment, there's a lot of other interesting information and materials that you'll be able to find on Teacher Connect. So over and above your training and the surveys that I mentioned, you'll be able to have access to bi-monthly webinars. So every other month we'll have a webinar about the program that will help you in your role as an assistant. We also have a fair amount of information about soft skills on the chatbot, so around work readiness, conflict resolution, and how you can make the best of your time in BEEI. We then have a host of exit opportunities available for you on the Teacher Connect platform. Here you'll find things like a letter of participation that you can get towards the end of your contract. We then have a lot of off-platform programs and sites that we link you to. So for those of you who are already thinking about what is next at the end of your contract, Exit Opportunities is for you. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a while. We then have FAQs. FAQ stands for Frequently Asked Questions. So we've preempted the kind of information that assistants will need for Phase 5, and all of those are in the FAQs. You'll find a lot of information about the program, about your codes of conduct, about how to apply for leave, you name it, we've got it there. But if you don't find what you're looking for in the FAQs, we also have live support on Teacher Connect to help you find, complete your training, and obtain your certificates. We also then have a way that you can share your story with us. So why are we here today? The objective of today's session is for you to become familiar with Teacher Connect, more specifically with our Teacher Connect WhatsApp bot. It is a WhatsApp chat bot that has been built to help you throughout your contract. So this session is going to be helping you to know how to register on the chatbot, as well as how to complete your training. So we're going to look more specifically at how you register on the Teacher Connect WhatsApp chatbot, how you can change your assistant type if you need to do so, how you can reset your profile if you need to do that, because essentially we ask you to register so that we know who you are and we can tell you which training you need to do based on your role type. We'll then go through the types of training that is required for each assistant type. So listen carefully. We'll also explain how you find your certificate and, if you need to, how you can change the details on your certificate. So I know you're going to ask, but this is not a compulsory session at all. This is completely optional. So if you have attended one of these before and you've been able to find your training and get your certificates, then you absolutely do not have to be here, nor do you have to attend every training. As I mentioned, there are quite a few sessions taking place. These are, as I said, these are completely optional. So I thank you all again for joining us today. We have several more sessions happening up until the end of July to help you find and complete your training. So welcome to the Thursday session. If you've been to one of these before, welcome back. And if you don't have any questions about Teacher Connect or how to find your training, then you won't need to attend again. We're just trying to set you guys up to find everything that you need so that you can be set up for success during your contract. So as I mentioned, there's quite a few sessions. We've got them on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. On Tuesday and Thursday, they're from 2 until 3 p.m. And on Wednesdays, they're from 11 a.m. until noon. Again, I just want to repeat, these are not compulsory. There is no attendance register for attending this call. There is no certificate. You are here because you need help. And if you don't need help, you are most welcome to exit. But for those of you who are still here, thanks again for listening. Worth mentioning that if you need additional help, you can attend as many of these as you need to. So if you want to come to all of them, you are welcome. We are here to support you, and you can decide how much support you need. Each training session has a different link. So if you want the links for the various training sessions happening next week and the week after, please speak to your district coordinator. They'll be able to get these to you. Or you can send us an email. At the bottom of my screen, you'll see our email address. It's BEEI@Ecubed-DBE.org. I'll pause for a moment so you can write down our email address if you need to chat to us. But hang tight. We're going to take you through everything you need to know in this session. And I can see the questions coming in through the Q&A box. Thank you for your engagement, but you can just listen and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. As I mentioned, you don't need to attend every webinar. Yes, there are webinars running, these webinars are running until the end of the month, but you can attend as many as you like, as many that is helpful until you've had all your questions answered. If you're confident that you have been able to register, do your training, then you don't have to attend the webinars. As I said, these webinars are just here to help you. And again, I just want to reiterate, because I know you're going to ask, there is no attendance register or certificate for attending this webinar. This is entirely up to you how much support you need. Another reminder, your cameras and microphones are switched off. You won't be able to switch them on to chat to us, but if you do have any questions, just pop them in the Q&A box. If you look at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see a button that says Q&A. We have a team here ready and waiting to answer your questions. But you're also welcome just to sit and listen, because we should cover all your potential questions here in this session today. Welcome to all those who have joined a little bit late. Let's do this. For those of you who have never registered on Teacher Connect, this is how you do it. You'll see a little video here on my screen going through the process. I'll play that more than once, so if you miss part of it, don't worry. Take a deep breath. We're going to do this together. So if you've never spoken to us before, look at this phone number on my screen, 060 060 3333. Save this phone number to your cell phone under the name Teacher Connect. Once you have done that, you send us the word hi on WhatsApp. Yes, that means all your training and all this information is available on WhatsApp. You've got the whole world in the palm of your hand. For those of you who have QR code scanners, there's a QR code on the bottom left of my screen. If you scan that with your QR scanner or your camera, depending on your phone, it's going to take you straight to WhatsApp, and then you send us the word hi. And now I know you're going to send me the word hi in the chat box. Listen carefully. You want to send us the word hi on WhatsApp. I'm going to repeat our phone number, 060 060 3333. Before I continue, I just want to say, don't panic. If you didn't manage to figure it out the first time, we've got you. If you're having any kind of trouble that we can't answer here in this session or in the Q&A box, just send us an email. Our email is at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to repeat that for you as well. It's BEEI@Ecubed-DBE.org. So have you saved the phone number and said hi? So why are you saying hi to us on WhatsApp? It's so that you can register. So you'll see here on my screen, there's Jane B. She types the word hi. She gets our welcome menu. At the bottom of the menu, you'll see a button that says next. If you tap that button, it's going to guide you through the process. If you've never used a chatbot before, don't worry. We're going to go through it now. You'll see the first item you're asked to look at is our privacy policy. This is a standard thing when you are collecting people's personal information. I don't know if you know about the POPI Act. It's legislation which protects your personal information. And this is us telling you that we will keep your personal information safe. Why are we asking for your personal information? It's so we can know who you are and what your assistant type is, so that we can give you the best support. If we know your assistant type and your school and all your other information, we can tell you exactly which training you need to complete before the end of the month. So on my screen, you'll see here Jane B. She's put in her first name. She's waited. She's gotten the next message. She's then giving us her last name, Jane B. Smith. She gets a message that says, nice to meet you, Jane B. Here's the opt-in. This is entirely up to you if you select yes or no, but I do recommend that you select yes. Opting in allows us to send you WhatsApp messages in case there's any communication around upcoming webinars, surveys, or other important info. You'll see then we ask for Cater. I'm just going to back up this video ever so slightly. So there's Jane B. She says yes on the opt-in. We then ask her to tell us her assistant role. This is important. This will be what is dictated in your contract. So here, Jane B's told us she's a curriculum assistant. Here she's typing in her EMIS number. What is an EMIS number? I know you're going to ask. EMIS number is the unique identifying number of your school. If you don't have this, don't do what Jane B did on my screen and give me 5 zeros. I would like your actual EMIS number. We need that to help us identify you. So if you don't know what your EMIS number is, chat to your principal or teacher mentor or even other assistants at the school. They might know that information for you. You can always come back and finish your registration. So if you stop at any point and you come back and say hi, you can complete. So don't worry. I'm just going to go back on this video again. I'd like to show you all the information. I'm just going to recap. We ask for your CADR. I think this is an important point. Your CADR is BEEI assistant. You're not teachers or principals yet, anyway, maybe one day. You're not learners anymore, neither are you parents or district officials. Maybe some of you are parents, but in this instance, we want to know that you're a BEEI assistant. So that's your CADR. Once you've selected your CADR, so Jane B selects BEEI assistant, we then ask for first name, and then we ask for last name. So pay attention here on my screen. We ask first names. Jane B has put in her 2 first names, Jane B. She pushes send, she waits. Then she gets the next message, which asks only for last name. This is important. We need your actual first names and last names as they appear in your ID book. This is the name that's going to appear on your certificates. For each course you complete, you get a certificate. So we want your actual name on there. You'll see she opted in for the communications, and now she's selecting her role type, which is curriculum assistant. You may be a different assistant type, so a reading champion, handy persons, etc. Here we go again. Jane is putting in her EMIS number. Email address. And then finally, she'll be putting in her ID number. Again, you can take your time. Make sure you type everything correctly. ID number. And it's as easy as that. It's 6 pieces of information we need from you. And then we've got you all registered and ready to serve you your training. Are you guys with me? If you're not, I will go over it again in a moment. So if for some reason you have made a mistake on your profile, or if you've been part of a previous phase and you need to re-register with your assistant type, for whatever reason you need to reset your profile, we've got you. You'll see here on my screen, I'll just play the video again. Once you've registered and you go to the main menu, you'll have a lot of options of items you can see. Otherwise, if you wait 5 minutes and you type in the words teacher connect clear, all one word, you'll get a message back saying that your profile has been reset. And then you can send us the word hi again, and you can redo your registration. So if you need to do that, please do. I'm going to just repeat those instructions. To reset your profile, you need to wait 5 minutes. You need to type in the word teacher connect clear. Make sure of that spelling. There's no spaces in between the words teacher connect or clear. You'll see it again on my screen. Once you've sent that word, you wait for the response. You'll get a little message a couple of minutes later saying your profile has been reset. And then all you have to do is type hi. It's as easy as that. Just remember the word hi, and you can come back and find us at any time. If you've made any kind of mistakes in your registration and you need to change your role, this video shows you how to get that from the menu. I'm just going to play that from the very beginning again. So here is the BEI menu. I'll pause there. You'll see there's a lot of things that you are able to look at from that menu. You'll see the second to last option is change my role. If you select that, you're able to change your role type So if you've made a mistake, or if you've got more than one role and you've done your training and you need to move on to the next, that's how you do it. So there, Jane B just very quickly and easily changed her role from curriculum assistant to handy person. And now she's there in the training where she'll get what she needs to do. So it says, hi, according to our records, you're a handy person assistant. Here's your training. Jane B has selected her handy person's training. Away she goes. So let's pause there just to make sure everyone's on the same page. Yes, there is going to be a fair amount of repetition in this call. So if you've heard it already and you've got it, well done. If you haven't, let's try together. I'm going to point you to the QR code at the bottom left of my screen. You can either scan that with your camera or QR code reader, which will take you directly to WhatsApp, or you add this phone number to your contacts on your phone and call it Teacher Connect. That's us. Then when you've got the phone number saved, you go to WhatsApp and send us the word hi. I'll play this video from the beginning so you can see it's quick and easy. There, Jane has found us on Teacher Connect, or they found Teacher Connect on WhatsApp, sent us hi. Here's the welcome menu. When you tap next, we'll take you through that registration process I just went through with all of you. It's as easy as that. I'll pause here for a moment so you can take down our phone number and scan the QR code. If you watch the video, you'll see all the information that's being asked in registration. I'll just repeat that briefly. It's cater, then it's first name and last name. There's a communications opt-in, which you select yes or no to. It's worth mentioning, in order to proceed, you have to say yes to our privacy policy. We'll also ask you for your phone number, email address, ID number, and EMIS number. Another reminder, all cameras and mics are switched off for this call, but if you do have a question, and if there is something I haven't covered yet, you're welcome to ask in the Q&A box. Otherwise, just listen. I've got a few more things to tell you about, and hopefully we can answer all your queries. All right, so once you're registered, and don't worry, if you haven't registered yet, you can do that whenever it suits you. Before the end of the month, of course. As I mentioned, you have until the end of July to complete your training. But once you've registered and shared your details and assistant type with us, we can then give you the various modules that you need to complete. It's important to note, assistants only need to complete the training that is shared with them after registration. Over and above the training on Teacher Connect, we also have other training on various platforms, including the Quetzal, digital literacy, and NSSF training. Those are hosted off our platform, so you will need data in order to do those pieces of training. In this video on my screen, you'll be able to see the menu. Once you've registered, this is what you'll see. You're going to select the very top option, which is training. That's going to take you to the training hub. So you'll see here, Jane B has got into the training hub and she's about to tap the button, ready to start. Jane B is ready to take her courses. So I'll pause here You'll see then she receives a message from us saying, according to our records, you're a curriculum assistant. Based on this, these are the pieces of training that you need to do. So there she's got her list of training, and then she's able to tap and select which piece of training she wants to proceed with. There's her list of training. She selects orientation. And hey, presto, there it is. Orientation training in the palm of your hand. It's as easy as that. Now, all you need to do is settle in, relax, absorb the information on your screen, and tap the buttons that take you through. You'll see at the bottom of each message, there'll be a button that says next or start lesson 1, etc. That is how you move through the training, tapping each button once you've absorbed the information on your screen. It'll be little bite-sized chunks of information that come through, including quiz content and other useful pieces of information that you need to know to set you up for success during your contract as an assistant. So let's talk a little bit about the different types of training. So we have different assistant role types. That means we also have different types of training available. Orientation training is compulsory training for all assistant roles. So each and every one of you should do the orientation training. That is the training that is currently up on my screen that Jane B is going through here. This is all the general information you need to orientate you in your schools. Over and above this, we have role-related training. So we've got training for care and support assistants, training for curriculum assistants. We have the 3 phases for curriculum. It's foundation, intermediate, and senior, as well as FET phase training for the curriculum assistants. We then have handy persons training, as well as reading champions assistant training. So all of those, as of today, are available on the Teacher Connect WhatsApp chatbot, ready for you to absorb the knowledge. At the moment, I just want to highlight that sports and enrichment, workshop assistant, laboratory assistant, and e-cater assistant training are still in progress. So those are currently not available, but hopefully they will be soon. If you are a sports and enrichment workshop, laboratory, or e-caters assistant, don't worry, we'll let you know as soon as those are available. And you can start with your orientation training in the meantime, so nothing stops you from registering and getting started. So let's talk a little bit about the different types of training that each of the different assistant role types need to complete. Curriculum assistants, you guys have the largest amount of training on the curriculum. So not only do you have to complete your orientation training, you'll need to do your curriculum training for foundation phase, curriculum training for intermediate and senior phase, as well as curriculum training for FET phase. You need to do all 3 of the curriculum trainings available, as well as our flagship course, which is Introduction to Project-Based Learning. Over and above those 5 pieces of training, there's also the digital literacy and online safety training, which is with Kitsao. That is not on Teacher Connect, but we will give you a link to find that training. Curriculum assistants, this slide is all the training that you need to complete. But please don't worry, if you can't remember that list, you don't have to. All you need to do is register on Teacher Connect, and we're going to tell you what you need to do, and we'll guide you through that process. Let's talk reading champions. I'm just going to play this video again of the orientation training. If you look at the little phone screen on my screen, you'll see how to get to training from the menu. You find training. You go into the training hub. If you're ready to start training, you tap ready to start. There it goes. And then you'll be served the training you need to complete for your assistant type. This video is going to show you what the orientation training looks like. As I mentioned, orientation is the training that each of you need to complete, regardless of your role type. But let's talk about reading champions for a moment. So reading champions is they also need to do their orientation training as well as their reading champions training. Over and above this, they also need to do the digital literacy. So those are the 3 pieces of training required for reading champions. Just a reminder, you all have until the end of July to complete all your pieces of training for phase 5. So you got time, and you can do the training at your leisure on your phone. All you need is a little bit of data or being connected to Wi-Fi. Care and support assistants. You also need to do orientation training. Then you need to do your care and support training. Over and above this, you also can do your digital literacy training. So those are the 3 pieces of training required for care and support assistants. I'll just repeat that quickly. Orientation, care and support, and digital literacy. That is the training you'll be doing as a care and support assistant. Again, if you can't remember that, register on the chatbot and we're going to guide you every step of the way. Handy persons, this is for you. You need to do also orientation training like everybody else. You then need to do your handy persons training as well as digital literacy. Those are your 3 pieces of training, compulsory training that need to be completed before the end of July. E-caters, we haven't forgotten about you. In terms of the available training, you need to do orientation and digital literacy. There is no live e-caters training available on Teacher Connect yet, but don't worry, when that's up and running, we'll let you know. For now, it's just the 2, orientation and digital literacy. Likewise, laboratory assistants, you also need to do your orientation and digital literacy training. The laboratory and workshop training is coming soon. Workshop assistants, same story. You need to do orientation and digital literacy. The laboratory and workshop training is coming soon. Sports and enrichment assistants, you also need to do orientation training, digital literacy, and the sports and enrichment training will be coming soon. So for now, it's just those 2 pieces. I'm going to pause here. This is just a reminder that your training needs to be completed by the end of July, and that when the new courses are available, you'll get an SMS or a WhatsApp to notify you. I'm just going to pause here for a moment, and I want to go to the Q&A box and see if there's any questions for me. Let's see. Lastly, we've got a question here from Nikolai. It says, where can I do the digital literacy training? We've got you, Nikolai. If you go onto Teacher Connect, onto the WhatsApp chatbot, there will be a link where you can complete that training. It's off platform, So we'll give you a link and it'll take you to the right place to complete that training. Thank you for your question. Sibukazi said, please, can you help me to write my school's EMIS number correctly? I made a mistake on registration. Oh dear, but don't worry, Sibukazi, we can sort you out. If you could please send us an email. I'm going to give you our email address. It's BEEI@ecubed-DBE.org. I see Susanna has just sent you our email address. Just pop us an email and we'll get that sorted for you. Nonkusana, I see you have a question asking how many certificates does an eCaders assistant have? I just went over that, so you may have asked this just before, but I'm going to repeat so that you're certain. For now, eCaders assistants need to do the orientation training as well as the digital literacy training. There is no dedicated eCaders assistant training live at the moment. As I mentioned, we will notify you when that's up and running. I see a question here from Ifiwe. How can I add my details? Great question. You may have joined us a little bit late and missed the registration portion of this presentation, but essentially you need to register on our WhatsApp chatbot. And the way you do that is you send the word hi on WhatsApp to 060 060 3333. Here's a message, a question from Kayleen. Hi, Kayleen. She says, when you registered, could you tell me what is the next step I should take? Absolutely. So once you're registered, you'll get a message that is what we call the BEEI menu. There's a button at the bottom that says tap to select. This opens a number of options for you on the menu. I'd suggest that your next step would be to tap the first option, which is training, and that is where you'll find all the training that you need to complete based on your assistant role. I hope that helps, Kayleen. Is there a certificate for the last phases? It'll be working, if not, for your first time in BEEI. Thank you for the question, Ms. Ndlovu. So I think if I understand the question correctly, you're asking if you were in a previous phase of BEI and did your training then, if you need to do it again for phase 5. And the answer is yes. If you've done training in phase 3 or 4 or whatever other phase, it needs to be redone for phase 5 because the information is a little bit different. So let us know if you need a little bit of help resetting your profile so that you can redo the training for phase 5. As I said, there is some new information that would be important. That would be important for you to take in. Then I'm going to take one last question here from the Q&A box. I see Romario is asking, how do I register when Teacher Connect Clear doesn't reset? Well, Romario, I guess that happens sometimes. My suggestion here would be to wait 5 minutes or more, and then try again to type that exact word you've got there, Teacher Connect Clear, one word, and try reset your profile. Sometimes it needs about 5 minutes to reset. You'll then get a message that says your profile has been cleared, and then you send us the word hi. I hope that helps. All right, back to my slides. All right. Let's talk certificates. So on completion of each piece of training, a certificate will automatically be generated for you. When a certificate is shared with you, we like to suggest that you save it to your phone or send it somewhere else where it needs to be saved. So WhatsApping it to your teacher mentor, or saving it to your phone, emailing it to yourself, whatever you need to do. These certificates are essentially evidence that you have completed your training. You'll see here on my screen, that's what the certificates look like. It's just a little PDF with the type of training on it and your name. And this is your evidence that you've done your training. As I mentioned, once you complete each piece of training, you will automatically receive your certificate at the end of each piece of training. So you'll get a certificate for orientation. You'll get a different certificate for handy persons, another certificate for each of the pieces of curriculum training, etc. You need to then collect all the certificates to show that you have completed your training. So if for some reason you have misplaced your certificates once you've done your training, don't worry, we've got you. You'll see here on the menu on my screen, the very last option says My Certificates. If you go here and select this option, it'll automatically reissue all your certificates to you. So I just want to go back so you can see how to get here. This person says hi, and then we say, hi, Janet. Janet goes and taps My Certificates, hits send, and then one by one, first we check if the details are correct. Janet says her details are. We then are able to give her all her certificates in one place again. So there you'll see Janet's done her orientation training. That's her Reading Champion certificate, that green one. Has she done any other training? Just those two for now. So there's her certificates. Brilliant. So if you didn't save your certificates the first time around, don't worry. You can find them pretty easily. I'm going to just play that video again for you to have a look. You go to the menu, you tap here, you select My Certificates and tap the button Send. We then check your details are correct. If they are, we reissue your certificates. Easy breezy. You'll see your certificate of completion will have your first name, your last name, as well as the date that you obtained the certificate for that piece of training. It will then below it have details of the training here. This is very small on my screen. You'll have to do your own certificates to see them up close and personal. So what do you do if you've made a mistake with your name when you were registering and your certificates are a little bit wonky? You're going to go to the exact same place as the previous slide. You're going to go to the menu and you're going to go to My Certificates, and you have one chance to change your details. So I guess you need to be super careful when you type in your first name and your last name. So you'll see here, oh gosh, sorry, I skipped ahead. Let's try that again. So you'll see Janet goes to My Certificates. She taps at the bottom, hits send. She's then asked, did we get your name right? And she says no. So here she's got one opportunity. There she's putting her name Janet. It actually had two N's. She spelt it wrong. She put in her name. She's there put in her last name, which is the same. And now all her certificates will be regenerated with the correct spelling of her name on it. There it is, Janet with two N's. She's done her orientation, Reading Champions, Handy Persons, and Care and Support Training. There are all her certificates again. So I just want to go through this again. If for some reason you made a mistake on registration and spelled your name incorrectly or made a typo, it's okay. You can change those details on your certificate, but only once. I'll say that again. You can only change those details once. So here I go, she types in the correct spelling of her first name. She reiterates her last name because that spelling was correct. And here we reissue the certificates. So for anyone who's got big fingers like me and mistypes, we can sort that out quickly. All right. If you've been here since the beginning of the call, thanks for sticking with me and listening to my voice. For those of you who have been here since the beginning of the call, I hope that you've managed to successfully register. However, if you haven't, let's try again. And for those of you who've joined later in the call, thank you. Thanks for joining. And this is how you can access the Teacher Connect WhatsApp chatbot. You want to send the word hi to us on WhatsApp. The phone number is 060-060-3333, or you can scan the QR code in the bottom left corner of the screen. For any of you who are on this call and are a bit stuck, don't worry. We can sort you out in just a moment. If you send us an email, we can assist you. Our email address is BEEI@ecubed-DBE.org. It's here in the little round circle, yellow circle at the bottom of my screen. You can take that down now. So if you haven't yet, say hi to Teacher Connect on WhatsApp. I'm going to pause here again and just see if there are any questions in the Q&A box that need answering. Let's see. It looks like the moderators are answering all of your questions. I see here there's a question from Zodwa. It says, as a curriculum assistant in the foundation phase, do I also need to undergo the FET or intermediate and senior phase training? Oh, that's a great question. Thank you so much, Zodwa. Yes, is the short answer. All curriculum assistants need to do all the curriculum training for each of the phases. So even if you are an assistant in the foundation phase, it'll be great for you to also learn about the other phases. So you are required to do 3 pieces of the curriculum training specifically, as well as your orientation, introduction to project-based learning, and then the digital literacy. I hope that helps. I see here Daniela has a question and she asks, how do ICT assistants have one certificate? Do ICT assistants have one certificate except the orientation training? Yes, that's correct. So at the moment, there is no specific eCadres training available, but if you do your orientation training as well as the Kitsao digital literacy training, you're all set. Please let us know if you have any questions. Got a question here from Miriam. It says, what if you got married and have 2 surnames, but you haven't changed your ID number yet? Do you go according to the ID you currently have? Congratulations, Miriam, on your nuptials. That's a great question. I would say you could go according to your current ID for now. But I think if you added both surnames, it should be fine. So for you, when you register and it says first name, you'll put in Mariam, and then last names, you can either put one or both of your last names. They can all appear on your certificate. I think that is entirely up to you. But as long as it matches your ID, for the most part, I think that's fine. Yours is an interesting example where the instructions can be a bit of a gray area. So I hope that helps. If you have any trouble, Mariam, just send us an email and we'll get you sorted. Boitumelo says the chatbot keeps going back to the assistant training, so I can't access the Reading Champions training. I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but I think what you're saying is it keeps going back to orientation. So even if you are a Reading Champion, Boitumelo, you will need to finish the orientation training and then move on to the Reading Champions training. I think the best way for you would be to wait 5 minutes and then type the word hi to Teacher Connect. And then on the main menu, select the first option that says training. If you go into the training hub and it says you are a different assistant type to a Reading Champion, I would then suggest that you change your role type. Let me just quickly go back in my slides here to show you what I mean. One moment, I'm just looking for that slide where you can change your role type. Here we go. So maybe this one is for you. So this is if you selected the wrong role type, it will then show you the incorrect training for you. You can go there on the menu, like it says here, you go to change my role. You'll then get the full list again where you can select Reading Champion. Otherwise, if you are in the training hub and it shows you your training, there will also be an option that says, my role is incorrect, and you'll be able to change your role type there. I hope that helps. I'll briefly pause on this slide again for those of you who have joined late and need to get into your training. This is how. You need to join us on the WhatsApp chatbot and send us the word hi. If you haven't done so already, save this phone number to your phone as Teacher Connect. It's 060 060 3333. Alternatively, you can scan you can scan this QR code in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, and it'll take you directly there. And it's as easy as a few taps of the buttons. You'll see here on my screen, we guide you through the registration process. Your cater is BEEI Assistant, so you'll select the top one. You'll then give us your details, first name, type only your first name, and then push send, and then wait. Some people have more than one first name. Here, Jane B. Now, last name, Jane B. Smith. Nice to meet you, Jane B. Here's the message opt-in. If you say yes, message me, we can send you notifications when there's new training or anything you need to know about. You then select your assistant role. Jane B is a curriculum assistant. We then ask for EMIS number. This is the unique number for each school. So if you don't know this, you pause here and ask your teacher, mentor, or principal for your correct EMIS number, not to be confused with email address. We then also ask for email address. You'll see there, jane@test.com. We also ask for ID number. This video is just an example, so please don't just put in a bunch of zeros for your ID number. Give us your actual ID number as it appears in your ID book. And there it is, the main menu. Once you've registered, this is all you really need to know, is to get to the main menu, and here you'll find everything you need. Training, work readiness, that's a lot of information about the soft skills required to work in a school. FAQs is a host of frequently asked questions about the program, about being an assistant, about training, everything you need to know. We've got the surveys. There'll be a new monthly survey towards the end of each month available. You'll then be able to find information about our upcoming webinars. You're able to share your story. You can send us a document, a voice note, or a video telling us your story about your experience of being an assistant. You can then change your role type, or you can find all your certificates. So it's all here in the palm of your hand. Once you've registered, you'll be able to find your training. On the menu, you select the top item, training. We'll then take you to the training hub, where we'll tell you what training you need to do. We know that each assistant role has different training that you are required. And here's a nice example on my screen. This user is a curriculum assistant. So here we've given them the list of training that they need to complete on Teacher Connect. You click this button at the bottom where it says tap here to select. It then opens a menu. You need to select the training that you want to do. So here they're selecting orientation training. And then there it is on your phone, ready for you to traverse. You move through the training by tapping the buttons below each text. So here it says, are you ready to begin? And it says yes or not yet. Jane B is ready. And there it starts. A little bit of information about the program, why it matters, some tips and tools on how to go through the training and absorb as much information as you can. And your first lesson, job profile and broad expectations. This is just an example of what the training will look like on your phone. I'll just briefly go over the types of training available, and then I'll close this call at 3. Thanks again for joining. The training we have available for you is orientation, care and support, curriculum. There's 3 types of curriculum training for each of the 3 phases. There's handy persons and reading champions training available as of today, ready for you to complete. And we have a few pieces of training that are still in progress. So these aren't available yet, but will be made available soon. It's sports and enrichment, workshop, and laboratory assistant, as well as e-caters. We will let you know as soon as those are ready. One last time, if you need to take down our phone number or email address, I would like to direct your attention to this slide. Our number is 060-060-3333. And I've reached the end of my hour with all of you. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you for your engagement and your questions. It's been great to talk to all of you. If any of you are still stuck, our next session is on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Join us. We'll walk you through how to find your training, how to complete your training, and how to get your certificate. If you know all of that, you're done and you don't need to attend one of these again. So thank you so very much for your time, and we look forward to hearing from you. I wish you all a wonderful afternoon, our wonderful assistants of Phase 5. Thank you again for joining.